Hola, mi compadres, Brian the Bold here, and today we are going to play some World of Tanks, and I'm going to give you some tips that will hopefully not make you as bad of a player as you may be right now. Maybe you might be an experienced player and you want to see some idiot play World of Tanks, so I have some clips, and I'm just speaking over the clips right now, and if they're bad, don't be surprised because you're not going to get anything out of this guy right here. So hopefully you guys will find these tips. So hopefully that the community of World of Tanks will see it and take it and usually hopefully use it, because I actually have 10 things that will hopefully make you a better player and really a decent human being in World of Tanks. Now, number one in my list. Now, these aren't really in specific order. I just wanted them to be in a list, and none are greater. So like it's not like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just randomness, so I'm just going to go from 1 to 10, so let's go for that. So my number one thing is never underestimate the enemy team, because I've seen so many people and myself underestimate a lot of players. Let's say you're a tier 5 in a tier 4 game. You might think that you're heavily armored and you'll not be penetrated by the lower tier tanks. Well, you're wrong, because there are a lot of tanks that can penetrate tier 5 tanks, and tier 5 tanks can't even penetrate tier 4 tanks at sometimes, because I believe it's the VK1 30.01 that like has, when it's stock, it has such a bad gun. And like one time I tried to penetrate a freaking N3 Lee, right? Not gonna even penetrate him because my gun sucked and I couldn't even like aim correctly. It's that bad. So you really don't need to underestimate your player. And plus, even though you got a higher tier, doesn't mean you're a good player. Let me tell you that right now, because someone could have like a really crappy tank, but they could be like a master at like World of Tanks in general. And if you don't watch yourself, they're gonna quickly get behind you or just make a fool out of you and kill you in mere seconds. So really, don't underestimate your players when you're playing World of Tanks, especially enemies. And don't underestimate your friends either, because even though they got like, I don't know, like a bad gun, not a bad gun, but like a bad tank, then again, like, you can be a good player. So don't underestimate them, and please just watch out and don't be stupid. Number two is don't be a hero. I've seen this so many times where people would think to themselves like, hey, I am the only good person in this team, so I think that it'd be a great idea if I rush down and try to get as many kills as possible. That does not work as much as you'd like to think. It works at some occasions, and it's rare. It honestly is rare. I'm not going to say it doesn't work at all, because sometimes it does. And you can have a horrible team, and you're going to have to carry, because, you know, you can have that team that's like, can't even get one shot on a tank, and even if they do, it's just a ricochet, which, you know, sometimes you got to carry the team. But yet, you can have a good team, and it's not really necessary for you to think of that and just go on a freaking rampage. You just need to settle down and work as a team, because if you don't work as a team, you're going to die, and you can't be a lone wolf either. I mean, sometimes it can work, but it's highly not really recommended for me to not do that, because for me that's suicide and doesn't really work out for me when I go alone. So if I were you, don't act as the hero, and, you know, play fair and just work as a team. Now, number three is don't be stupid. Do not be stupid. Do not rush like an idiot. It goes with the don't be a hero. Only except like don't be heroes with people who are smarter than number three. But number three, they just throw common sense out of the window, and they just go straight out of nowhere, and you're just asking yourself, where are you going? You're going nowhere. You're just getting at the map, which you can't even do that because there's boundaries, and they're just like going straight down, not even shooting, and you wonder to yourself, what are you doing? Stop rushing. You're gonna get yourself killed, and you're going to die. So don't be stupid. No one is truly stupid. You can act stupid. You can't be stupid. So I guess it's not don't be stupid, don't act stupid. So that makes more sense. But trust me, if you play smart and you play with not a stealthy, but like a more passive way, and just a tad bit more aggressive, then that'd be great. Don't be too aggressive that it's too stupid, alright? You can be aggressive, just make sure it's not stupidity that's aggression, alright? So you gotta be careful of that. Number four is help out. And that also goes with, teamwork, because there's a person who is dying right now, right? And his tank is about to die, but he's a pretty important tank that you need to keep alive. So what you can do is maybe provide some cover for the guy, or provide suppression fire, or cause damage to the tank that's shooting them. Really, you can do anything to help out your players, because more people on your team means more of an opportunity to survive and have more people to attack other tanks, and there could be a good chance of winning. Now, granted, helping out is good, but it's also dangerous, because you have to watch out with what you do for yourself, because you can't get yourself killed for a lost cause, alright? Because you have to watch out with what you do, because that person can suck, and you might think it might be a good idea to save him, but really, in reality, it might be a bad choice. So, help out, but be wise about it, because you don't want to die in the early stages of the game, or the match, and then lose the entire game because you tried to help out or be nice, so you just gotta watch out for that. And then for number 5 in my list is stay in groups, because I've seen so many people, including I, who just go alone. They just go alone. That also goes with number 3, don't be stupid. And people would go alone, and they would be meeting up with groups of tanks, and who do you think is going to win? The one tank or the 4 platoon tank? It's obviously going to be the 4 platoon tank, unless they suck balls and they complete garbage, and the guy is a freaking master, and he's like 5, no, not even 5. Let's give him the opportunity to get 20 master badges and freaking destroy everyone there. But that's kind of rare in this type of PS4 game. But you gotta watch out, alright? You can't go alone. It's better to go in groups than go by yourself. Even with scouts, you kind of have to go with 2 or maybe 3 scouts, because everyone knows if you're a scout, there's a high chance that you're probably going to die if you're not as a good player as other people, because there's not any French tanks. And of course, French tanks, they don't have any armor, but they are fast, and they have a decent gun, I would say. I mean, they have auto reloaders, so I guess that'd be okay. I haven't played with the French tech line with any, so I can't really speak for them yet. But until the World of Tanks PS4 releases the French tank thing, I can't really say anything about the French line. But you gotta be careful too, because it doesn't matter what tank you are, or what type of tank you are. You can't really go by yourself. You go by yourself, that's asking for committing suicide right there. Alright, so we got number 6. Number 6 is always carry consumables and premium rounds. This is a problem for me, and I've seen it with so many people. You might be telling yourself, this gun sucks. I can't even penetrate anything. It's probably because you don't have premium rounds. And let me tell you, even though premium rounds are really expensive, they help out a lot. And even though they do take a lot of money, it can help you with getting more money in the long run. Of course, you don't have to spend gold. I hope you know that. You can change it in the settings with triangle when you're in the consumables and supply area, and then change it to regular silver. But just try not to spam. No one likes a spammer, right? Just use it wisely when it comes to tanks that you can't even penetrate well. Because, there's some tanks that have awful guns, and you have to deal with a freaking heavy tank that's fantastic armor, so you gotta watch out with that. And then consumables, there are so many opportunities when I was caught off guard, and I had no consumables, and an artillery got me, alright? And he tracked me, but I was full health, but I couldn't move because I was tracked, and then another artillery came by, or another tank came by and finished me off, and that was awful, awful situations. But you know what I could have avoided with that? Consumables, fixed it up with just one simple tap, and I would have been on my way. Now, granted, it's a little bit more complicated when it comes to World of Tanks PS4, because you can only fix one thing, which is kind of frustrating. And would I say that's balanced? I guess it would be balanced, I guess. I mean, in World of Tanks Blitz, you could have one consumable, and then it would fix everything. No matter what it was, it fixed everything. But you only had one, which was great. But in this game, you only have one thing to use, and you can only fix one thing, which is kind of garbage for me. I mean, I would rather have, everything fixed, and that'd be fantastic. But, what can you do? You can't really complain that much. So, number 6, consumables and premium rounds. Make sure you have them in your tanks. Number 7 is steady your tank well. If you don't steady your tank well, and you just go out there like a freaking buffoon, you're going to die. and you're going to lose the game for your teammates unless they're really good players. Now, if you think that you got armor on the Stug 3G, you're 50-50 right, because it has armor, but it's derpy. It's not really reliable. It really isn't. For me, it's not reliable. I mean, it can easily be penetrated by tier 5, with its own tier, and sometimes tier 4s, and obviously tier 6, so you really have to be careful. I never really liked the German tier 5 and 6, tank destroyers, because that's never really liked them. The armor and the gun, it's not really my cup of tea, so you gotta watch out for that. So you really have to study your tank, because sometimes with mediums, they're really complicated as well, because sometimes they can be heavy type mediums, or maybe a light tank medium, because sometimes they have different qualities. So you have to look it up on the internet, or just play a lot of rounds with it, with proving grounds with your teammates. So you gotta watch out with that as well. So just remember to look at your tank, and make sure you know your tank pretty well, because if you don't, it's going to be a big problem for you. And then let's go for number 8. Number 8, it's all about damage. If you think that you're going to get more money by killing enemies, you're wrong. I think this went over in a development developer vlog or something, and they said that, like, doesn't matter how many kills you get, it doesn't make any money. It doesn't make you any money at the end of the round. What makes your money is damage, and it helps the team a lot when it comes to damage. Now, don't get me wrong, getting an enemy kill does help your team. But what doesn't help if you just go around and start killing the most weakest ones, because sometimes you can be a good tank, but you also need to watch out for other tanks as well and try to get them to die, because if you don't, then you're absolutely screwed, and you're going to die if you don't get damage. So get as much damage as possible, and make sure it's consistent, and you don't just wait at the end of the round to cause damage, and then that's just completely useless. And then number 9 is capture the flag if necessary, because I've seen so many people capture the flag in the beginning of the round, which is so annoying, and plus it's a death. It's just asking for your death warrant right there, because you're obviously going to die, and there's no hope for you, and you might as well quit the game, because there's really no point, unless the team is far away and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna cap the base like a big scumbag that I am, because it's annoying for me. And then finally, for number 10, is don't get behind people. This is the worst thing they could ever do to anyone in the entire world, is getting behind someone. It is very frustrating, just absolutely mind-boggling to see people get behind people. Like, you're trying to back up and someone just deliberately or accidentally just rams behind you, and you can't even move. The only thing you can do is move forward, but why would you want to move forward? You're going to get shot, and even yet, you're still going to get shot because this idiot is blocking behind you. So if I were you, do not, I don't care what circumstance you're in, do not get behind people. Do not. If you want to be a decent human being in this game, do not get behind people, alright? That is the most horrendous thing you can ever do, besides blowing them up, which is another horrendous thing, but thankfully they took that out in Mortal Tanks. Well, in Ps4 there's no friendly fire, so that's a good thing, so... Again, that's my list of basics of how not to suck at World of Tanks, or just in general being a decent human being in World of Tanks, because if you're not, then how are you going to win? So hopefully you found this very helpful, and so thank you everyone for watching this video, and if you liked it, give it a like, support the Red Guard, and this is Brian the Bold signing out. Stay I apologize. Ooh, I'm messing up right now. Stay bold out there. Ciao. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this didn't really go well with me. Freaking got wrecked by the tier 3.